Good morning, everyone. Listen, I'm coming on right now before the theme music because you want to know what this show is going to be all about. You've heard about velocity banking. We're going to show you what's wrong with velocity banking. All right. Let me say that if the theory actually works, but the practice can go seriously wrong. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to put an example on the screen and then we're going to start the show. Okay, let's put this on the screen and we're going to show you exactly what I mean. With velocity banking, you use lines of credit or credit cards at a different interest cost to help pay down debt, but it can quickly get out of hand and cause huge problems. And I want to show you this. I'm going to zoom in on this and then we're going to get started here. All right. Let me zoom in on this. And this person here came to us. All right. All right. Let me see here. Let me see. There we go. Look at this. Look at this. Credit card debt, 10 credit cards amounting to $73,000, attempting to use velocity banking to help pay down debt. And each one of these 10 credit cards is maxed out. And these people make good money. If you want to avoid the problems with velocity banking, then you definitely want to pay attention to this show. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And today, we're going to be talking about velocity banking. But first, what does P.I.L.L Method stand for? People ask me that all the time. P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. If you understand this, then you understand some of the basics about how loans actually work. The information we were supposed to be told when we were children to understand how loans actually work. And we find out that none of this information was told to us. All right. So join the conversation today. Click on the link you see in the chat. We're going to also put it in so that you can see it on Facebook, so that you can see it on YouTube. Come on over to YouTube and listen. I got Katura Fleming says, "Hi Don, how are you? Good morning to you, Katura." Listen, and I'm in Huntsville, Alabama, by the way, and I'm excited about this show because there are a ton of videos on velocity banking, a ton of them. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, they're leaving out vital information. I mean, very important information, even though the strategy on the face of it can work. All right. If you're doing the math, it can work. But there's so much left out of these videos that they have. Do you know that these videos that talk about this are like 6 minutes long, 10 minutes long, at most 15 minutes long? Do you know why that the videos on YouTube are 6 to 15 minutes long? Because of our attention span. What they're trying to do is get more views so that their channel can make more money because of the advertising. And so they know that if they have a shorter video that you'll stay and watch it. And people ask me, Don, don't you know that if your videos are an hour to an hour and a half to, and sometimes 2 hours, people will see that and not even watch your video? But you know what? We are dedicated to telling you the truth about finance. And there's so much that's been left out. You can't get enough to make a good decision about finances in 6 minutes. I'm just sorry. Because we've been told things, you can do this, your finances aren't complicated. It's easy to do. All you have to do is, that's what we hear. All you have to do is blah, 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 blah. And we want something quick. We want something easy. We want a silver bullet. We want to take a pill and get it done fast. You see, if we keep living in a microwave society, wanting things quick, easy, fast, give me the one thing I need to do. Do you know how many people call my office, my company, and ask what one question? What is the right day to pay my mortgage so I can pay it off in 15 years or I can pay it off in 7 years? That's not how this works. It is not that simple. Folks, if it were that simple, we couldn't be in business for 19 years. You want to know the truth about this, and we're going to get into it today. So let's go ahead and put this example on the screen right now, and let's dive right into it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're looking for a 6 to 15 minute video, this ain't it. We want to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth here at the P.I.L.L method so that you can know what's going on. So go ahead and subscribe to our channel, share our content with others, okay? And comment and like the videos. That's all we ask, all right? Join us in our quest to get this information out, okay? So LFX Media, what are you saying? It says YouTube and TikTok are set the tone for short videos and stories, but you definitely can chop 2 hours down into several shorts that would lead them coming to your hour-long videos. LFX, you are so right. You are so right. And do you know what? We're going to do just that. Because we've got a social media team, and our social media team is telling us that, and Strategic Secrets says, good morning from Texas. Good morning to you. All right. So we're getting more people in. Go ahead and start sharing. And we are going to use our short form videos using our long content, cut those up into shorter videos to lead them to the longer content. How about that? LFX, you are correct. So let's take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this. $73,000 in credit card debt, trying to understand how to use velocity banking. It is almost criminal when you give people a concept, but you leave out vital information. All right. And it's not good when we do that. So I'm going to bring up some other information here so that we can get some context on what is going on with this. So let's take a look at this, and then I'll bring up some other information here so that we can see what's happening. Let me see here. Let's bring this up and get into it. Okay. So the let me see here. Velocity banking. All right. All right. Let's bring that up. And you want to know about, let's see here. Velocity banking gone wrong. What is velocity banking? Okay. All right. So we're going to get into this, and I'm going to copy this and put this on a document so that we can see it better. There we go. Put this over here. Put this on the document. All right, so that you guys can see it. So Boom, boom. There we go. And there it is. Boom. All right. So I need you to see this. We're going to go over, we got to understand what velocity banking is. And then we're going to try to break it down for you today in small bits and pieces so you're not overwhelmed with all of the information. Okay? So let's move this over to here. All right, there we go. Velocity banking uses something that they call debt weapons, or a line of credit or credit cards, borrowing money from your line of credit and placing it on other debt. Now, if you understand it and you have the discipline, velocity banking can save you money. Velocity banking can save you time on your loans. It can work, but here's what it doesn't do and what it can't do. It can't tell you how much interest you're saving, and it can't tell you the month, day, and year you will be out of debt because it's not set up that way. It sounds good. It looks good when people are explaining it on these 6 and 10-minute videos. Okay, so let's go over this. All right, let me make this just a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, debt weapons is a term used within the context of velocity banking, though less commonly recognized in traditional financial parlance. A debt weapon typically refers to any financial tool or product, such as a line of credit, home equity line of credit, or even a credit card that can be strategically used to leverage against debt. Number one, you can use this strategically, but when you look at these videos, they don't tell you, they don't figure out for you the interest on the loan you're attacking, number one, and the interest of the debt weapon, credit card, or line of credit that you're using, and then tell you, here's how much interest it's going to cost you to use this, and here's how much interest you will save by using it. Okay, so when you put money on principal, you will save interest and you will save time. But let me ask you, do you want to save the most amount of interest and the most amount of time, or do you just want to save some interest? You tell me. Put it in the chat this morning. Okay, because they're not telling you. Here's what they're not telling you. If I borrow from this debt weapon, or from a line of credit, or from a line of credit, how much should I borrow? You see, each individual, each person who has finances, they are unique. You make a certain amount of money, you have a certain amount of bills. You have situations that happen that your neighbor doesn't have. So giving you a broad brushed explanation of how this works actually doesn't make sense, because you want something that's going to work for you. Now, if you have a situation here, now listen, you watch these short videos and you tell yourself, I'm going to use a velocity banking. All right. And now you say, oh, how much should I borrow from my line of credit? Okay. You come up with a number. I'm going to borrow this much money from the line of credit, and I'm going to put that money on my mortgage. And then I'm going to follow the rest of what velocity banking does. But you know what typically happens with people who come to us when they're talking about velocity banking, and you have this line of credit or you have these credit cards? When life starts lifing, when things happen, and you have an emergency and the hot water heater blows up, or you have roof damage and you have to pay out a big you have the part that you have to pay, all right, on your insurance claim, Okay, there's a part you have to pay. So you said, where do I get that money? Here's what a lot of people tell themselves. Since I'm using velocity banking, I'm going to take a little bit additional money from this line of credit to take care of my emergency. And then I'll put it back next month. But guess what, folks? It doesn't get put back. More people fall into that trap than actually use velocity banking successfully. It's a theory. It is a theory. But what you're not seeing are a number of people who are saying, I saw this video and I used this system successfully. There's nothing in the videos. Watch this. There's nothing in the videos that says, borrow this much money. And with the amount of money that you have left over, here is approximately the time you can pay the money back that you borrowed. And then here is approximately how much interest it will cost you. And here's how much interest and time you will save. And here's when you can do it again. You see, the whole idea is to borrow money, put it on this debt, pay this back, all right, and then do it again. So if I can borrow money over here, all right, if I borrow $5,000 from my line of credit, I put it on my mortgage, and let's just say I'm saving about $17,000 in interest with my $5,000 I'm putting on my mortgage, okay? And the whole idea is, by me paying back my $5,000 on the credit card properly, it could cost me about $1,000 in interest to pay that back. So if it costs me $1,000 in interest to pay it back, but I use the bank's money to save $17,000 in interest on my mortgage, that's called arbitrage. I can use their money, pay them a little bit of interest for using their money, and then I can save a big amount of interest over here. That is the plan. But here's what's happening when individuals watch these short form videos. They have no idea how much interest it's going to cost to borrow the money. They have no idea how much interest they're saving when they put that $5,000 or $2,000 or $1,000 or even $500. And here's the next thing. If you have a particular amount of debt and you have a certain income, strategically, you want to borrow the least amount of money that you can borrow. You want to borrow the least amount of money that you can borrow, and to maximize your interest savings per dollar. How much interest can I save per dollar? There is a maximum you can save per dollar for you. And if you don't know what that is, if you can't optimize your interest savings, you're trying to get there in the dark. Okay, you can't get it done because you don't know what's happening. And if you borrow too much money, it'll take you too long to pay it back. And you don't want to keep borrowing that money if you don't pay it back. And while you're trying to pay it back, you're paying large interest payments on the mortgage or other debt you're trying to get rid of. You're paying too many interest payments you're trying to get rid of. So I'm giving you a kind of an overall view here, but we're going to get into it more in detail. The idea is to use these tools to one's advantage. Yes, you want to use it to one's advantage here. Effectively, turning what could be a liability, debt, into a weapon against itself by reducing the interest paid over time and accelerating debt repayment. It is important to note, however, that while velocity banking and the use of debt weapons can be effective for some, they require a deep understanding of personal finance. And these 6 to 10 minute videos don't offer that. Okay? Discipline, budgeting, and strategic financial planning. These methods are not without risk. Mismanagement can lead to increased debt or financial instability. It's often advisable to consult with a financial professional before implementing these strategies to ensure they align with your overall financial goals and situations. So, I'm an interest cancellation expert. My book is the only book on Amazon that even begins to help people to understand how an amortization schedule actually works and how you can use it to your advantage. Don't keep watching these short form videos. Get your information from an expert that's been in this business for 19 years. Okay? So that you can understand what's happening, and we don't get into trouble with these debt weapons, with these credit cards, with these lines of credit, and end up with more debt than we had in the beginning and start drowning. And then you reach out to the financial expert. Let me show you what can be done. Now, if you're in this situation, what they're telling you is on these videos that you can be out of debt on your mortgage and other stuff in about 20 years or 15 years. Okay. So here's what we're doing. Let me show you. Let me show you this. Okay. Let's get back here to this person who was attempting to pay off their mortgage and using credit cards as their debt weapons. And it got out of hand, and they got another card and then another card, and then maxed out 10 credit cards for a credit card debt of $73,800. $73,000 in credit card debt, plus the mortgage. But then they came to us. So here's what they have. To pay off this debt now, they're facing $349,900 in interest payments. That's just the interest payments. They have a total of $262,000 in debt. Okay? It's going to take them 29.8 years to pay it all off. That's right here. $349,000. Now they come to the P.I.L.L method and our opportunity cost calculator. And the opportunity cost calculator tells you exactly how much money to pay, how much money to put in savings, exactly what day to pay it on, and exactly how much interest you're going to save. All right, without getting into debt. And then if you use a credit card, oh my gosh, I'm going to give you a strategy where you can use your credit card in this system, but you'll never pay a dime of interest when you're using that credit card to pay monthly expenses. Are you hearing me? Use your credit card to pay monthly expenses, and it can help you to get out of debt faster. But you have to have guardrails. You've got to have somebody to tell you here's where you put on the brakes. Here's where you need a system in place that tells you exactly what to do and when, and guide you like financial GPS. So what these short form videos, these 6 minutes, these 10-minute videos are doing, they're giving you a paper map on how to manage your finances, and you have to figure out the route. Instead, the P.I.L.L method gives you a AI-powered financial GPS system that tells you exactly what to do and when. And if you follow the prompts, you can be out of debt cheaper and faster. So let's take a look at this person who tried to do this on their own, came to us, and see what happens. $349,990 in interest they were supposed to pay. When they came to us, we showed them that you're only going to pay about $97,000 in interest now. I'm not saying you're not going to pay no interest. You're going to pay some interest. But $349,000 versus $97,000, to pay $97,000 on all of this debt, that would mean they would have to have an interest rate of 2.23% to accomplish that goal. Boy, that is their effective interest rate. This is math, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to show them the math. And that's a 72% reduction in interest cost, not interest rate, but interest cost. That means they're going to save $252,314 in interest they don't have to pay. That's how it should be done. And not only that, but you should get a guarantee that this can be done. Get a guarantee that it can be done. And now, with their AI powered, opportunity cost calculator, giving them exact instructions and what to do, and listen, what's built into this program is when things happen in life that you didn't expect, you plug that in, and then the program recalculates and then gets you back on track as soon as possible. Just like when your GPS unit encounters a detour, it takes you off the original route. As soon as you turn off that original route, what is your GPS doing? It's recalculating the route to get you back on track as soon as possible. You don't have to think about it. You just follow it. That's what this system does. Whereas you try to use velocity banking on your own and life gets in the way. And now you're stuck. It says, what do I do next? I don't know. You were guessing in the beginning, you're guessing in the middle, and you're going to be guessing at the end. It is time out for guessing to get ourselves out of debt. We need a better way, a more sophisticated way to manage debt so we're paying a lot less interest. And because of that, these folks are going to be out of debt in 7.7 years now. 7.7 years, not 20 years, not 15 years, 7.7 years. And they'll also be able to live well while they're doing it. Right now, they're struggling. They'll still be able to live well. They'll still be able to go on vacation. They'll still be able to put money away for retirement. They'll still be able to put money away in a regular savings. They will be able to manage their debt more effectively. And if they feel like they're living from paycheck to paycheck now, once you start managing your income and your expenses and you track every penny, it will not feel like paycheck to paycheck anymore. Do you see? When you do this thing right, do you see here? Their monthly discretionary income is only $360.14 right now. Now, we like this here at the P.I.L.L Method. We start smiling when we see this. Why do we smile when we see this? When that people have a huge amount of consumer debt. I'll tell you why. Listen, you better start sharing this with everybody. Listen, because nobody's going to take this amount of time to explain this to you. Okay, here's what's happening. When we see this, we encourage everybody to tell us everything about your debt. It may be embarrassing at first, but tell us anyway, because while you feel like you're overwhelmed and embarrassed, we know that for you here at the P.I.L.L Method office, we know for you, this is a great thing. Why? Because you have all this consumer debt and you can pay all of the minimum payments and still have $360 left over. And we're going to show you how that $360 left over can be turned into a lot more so that you can be out of debt but in 7.7 years, starting here. Here's your starting point. Now, how do we know that? Because we're going to plug in, here's what we're going to do. We're going to plug in how much money you're making, and we're going to plug in all of your expenses. How much do you spend on groceries on average? How much do you spend on electricity? How much do you spend on gasoline? What is your car payment? What do you how much do you pay for your tags for your car every year? That's going to be plugged in. We're going to plug in all of your expenses, even your lifestyle expenses. How much do you spend just for you and your family to have a little fun every single month? So, what happens then? If we know how much you're making and how much you are going to pay for your stuff every month just to live, we have an average amount of how much is actually left over. You see, ladies and gentlemen, for most people, they're not tracking how much they're spending each month. They're not. As soon as you start tracking it, you see a budget is for tracking your expenses. It's not for restricting your fund. A budget isn't for restricting you. It's for tracking for you. Track how much you're spending each month. And then you know when all of your bills are paid. When all of your bills are paid, then you know you have an average of about $360 left over. And then we can put that money goes into your bank account. It goes into your savings account. And when it's saved up to a certain point for you, the program says, now take that money out of your savings account. Let's attack a debt. And what are we doing by doing that? We're going to recover the minimum payment on each one of these 10 credit cards by paying them off one by one. When we pay one off, we're going to get that. We don't have to pay that minimum payment anymore. And what do we do with that? Now, the program will do this for you. And this is what no other system does. And this is why people get in trouble. If I have a minimum payment on a debt, that's $200 a month. When I pay that off, guess what happens to most people? Their expenses gradually rise by $200 a month. They never really get to benefit from paying that off. You know it, and I know it. When you pay that off and that money sits in your checking account, somehow by the end of the month, that $200 that you should have had gets spent. When you have a program that sees that $200 left over, you go from $360 to $560 left over on average. And then every week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so, the program is gradually getting you in the habit of when it sees that you have extra money left over, put it in your savings account. Can I show you an example of that? Can I show you? If you want to see an example of that, put a number 9 in the chat and I'll show you how this system is superior to velocity banking because it takes every single part of your finances seriously. Okay? How much money is left over? And when is it left over? And what can you do? Do you want to see it? Okay, LFX says put a number 9 in the chat. They want to see it. Let me pull this up for you. Here is John and Rebecca Jones. Okay, John and Rebecca Jones, and we're going to break this down. We're going to break this down in a way that it makes sense. Here's their budget. Uh-oh. I've got to it was up too long. So I've got to let's put this back up. And then I will bring this over here. I've got to go into my program again because it timed out. So since it timed out, we're going to bring it up again. Okay, timed out. So we just will do this again and bring it on over. There we go. All right, here it is. This is John and Rebecca Jones. All right, here's their budget. Okay, in their budget, they're paid semi-monthly. Semi-monthly is um, is 24 paychecks a year. They get paid on the same 2 days every month. Biweekly is every other week you get paid. That is 26 pay periods a year instead of 24 pay periods a year. Semi-monthly, 24 pay periods a year. Biweekly, 26 pay periods a year. Okay, here we are. Now, this is how much they're making. Okay, it comes up to about $5,000 in a month. Their expenses, their food and dining, their utilities, and other expenses come to about $4,045.51 on average. Okay, so on average, they have about $954.49 on average left over every month. So when we take a look at that, we can take into account that if they have to spend an extra $300 because of something that's unforeseen, then their discretionary drops to $654. Do you see? When you have something that's guiding you, you can see your finances at all times. Let's say they have a situation where they have to spend $900 extra in a month. They can still feel good because they know they have it. When you are trying to pay your bills without tracking your expenses, you don't know when all of your bills are paid by looking at your checking account, and then you keep on spending until the money's gone. That's why it feels like paycheck to paycheck. It feels like paycheck to paycheck because we're not tracking it. As soon as you start tracking it, you see how much money is left over and you feel good about it. So let's go back and see what's happening here. John and Rebecca Jones tell the program, here, I just made $1,300. I just got paid $1,300. We're going to put that in our checking account. We're going to pay the mortgage. We're going to, oh, you see here? We have money. Let's see here. We have extra money that's in our checking account, and it says take money from savings and put it on the debt. Boom. Take money from savings and put it on the mortgage. And we're going to figure out how much you're saving here. But here's what I want to show you. When you do that, here's what the program does. The next time start paying your bills. And when the program sees that in your checking account, you have money you don't need for anything else, it's going to prompt you with these arrows to put $955.74 for John and Rebecca. Put that in your savings account because you don't need this money for anything else. They get paid again. They pay the auto loan. All right. And they pay the rest of their bills. And then they go into the next month, get a paycheck, pay the mortgage, pay the power bill, get another paycheck for Rebecca, pay the phone bill. Oh, see, now the money that they're saving up now, take money from checking and put it into savings. Here we go. Here's another $957.85. And then we can take the money from savings and put it on the HELOC. You see? Where's that money coming from? It's the money that's left over from paying their bills because the program automatically says, while you're doing everything else, it prompts you when to put money into savings. It becomes like automatic. It becomes a habit. Put the money that's in your checking account into savings. So out of sight, out of mind, put it over there. All right. And then it tells you how much to put on the debt to the penny. Now, let me show you what else is happening here. I put this money on the Visa. Remember when I told you that the velocity banking doesn't tell you how much interest you're saving? Look at this. Here's how much interest I'm saving. $2,134 in interest I will never have to pay on this credit card because I paid it all off at once from money that was saved up, not from trying to put a little bit extra on every month. So this is paid off now. And whatever the minimum payment was, I have now recovered that. And because I've recovered it, okay, I have a little bit more I can put on the mortgage by putting $1,004.24 on the mortgage. And this is why we stop here at 24 cents. Whatever your program says to do, do that, because this is the optimum amount of money. This is the least amount of money out of their savings that they could put on the mortgage to save the maximum amount of interest per dollar. So when we click on this and see that for an extra $1,000 here, they're going to save $4,955 in interest for putting $1,004.24, even if they have $10,000 in savings. Okay. Even if they have that, the program is going to say only put this much on your debt, because when you do the math, you want to know, am I saving the maximum amount of interest per dollar? Here's how much interest I'm saving. We're going to do the math for you. We're going to save $49.55 in interest. And what do we have to pay? So we're going to divide it by $1,004.24 equals $4.93 per dollar. If John Rebecca Jones put any more than that on their mortgage, the amount of interest they can save per dollar starts to go the other way. They start saving less interest per dollar, so their dollar does less work for them when they put more on at the wrong time. Folks, that's called violating the law of diminished return. When you put more on than you need to, the returns you're supposed to get start to diminish. The benefit starts to go down. You want to know, what is the exact amount of money to put on my debt so that I can save the maximum amount of interest that I can, and then you don't lose opportunities to take the additional monies and put it into some sort of investment that can make you money. You want to put the right amount of money on the debt to save interest, and you want to put the right amount of money into your investments to make interest while you're paying your bills. And a program like this does all of that for you, takes all of the guesswork out, right? So let's take a look. Let's take a look at another individual here. All right, let's get this off the screen. All right, and take that off. All right, and let's pull this back up so we can, there we go. Here's another individual. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, look at this. A mortgage of $634,000. They were trying to use the velocity banking system over, to do this, and they have $197,000 in loans. They have 12 credit cards they were trying to use for this system. Lord have mercy. 12 credit cards maxed out for $201,287.33. Can you imagine having $200,000 in credit card debt? $200,000 in just credit card debt, attempting to use, let me make this a little bigger. I'm sorry. Let's make this a little bit bigger. When you add up the mortgage, when you add up the loans and the line of credit they were trying to use, when you add up the credit cards they were trying to use in velocity banking, it comes to a total of $1,033,153.60. This is velocity banking gone seriously wrong. Trying to borrow money from Peter to pay it to Paul to try to save interest, but you have no idea how much money to borrow. You have no idea how long it's going to take you to pay it back. You have no idea how much interest it's costing you. You have no idea how much interest you're saving. You have no idea when to make the payments. You have no idea how much to pay. You have no idea with the instructions you're getting in these 6 to 15-minute videos, because they're not supplying you with that. They're giving you the theory of how it works, and the theory works. But how does it work practically? Give me some practical advice as to how a system can work for me to get me to pay less interest so I can get out of debt cheaper and faster. Now, I'll tell you, well, Don, this system is free. I'm learning this for free about velocity banking. It's free. Your system costs money. Yes, it does. You get what you pay for, ladies and gentlemen. This was free. This was all free to them to do this. Okay? But now that it's here, they come to us in distress. But guess what? When we look at it, we get a big smile on our face. Why? Because we know what can happen with only $430 of discretionary income. They can pay all of the minimum payments on this and still have money left over. If you have any money left over, we're going to help you get out of debt. If you can pay your bills on time and have a ton, look at this. This is a ton of consumer debt. When the average family has 13 different debts, this is a 12, 15, 7, and 17. It's got 2 mortgages here. Okay, 2 mortgages, 3 loans, 12 credit cards, amounting to $1,033,000. How much interest does the bank want them to pay? And how much of their money is going to interest every single month? I mean, a ton of it. Watch this. To pay this back, the bank wants them to pay a total of $1,725,000. That's the principal plus the interest. That is a total. How much interest is that, Don? It's $692,286. $692,000 in interest? No wonder it's going to take forever. It's going to take 36 years to pay this off. 36 years. By trying to use a system that they learned on the internet, got in serious trouble, and here's where they are. We're going to do the numbers for them. But if you use the P.I.L.L method and the opportunity cost calculator, see, the P.I.L.L method is not just the technology, it's the education that goes along with it. That's why our videos are not 6 to 10 minutes. Okay? So you have $179,954 that you're going to pay instead. Do you know what interest rate you would have to pay to go from this to this? What interest rate would you have to pay only $179,000 interest on $1 million worth of loans? You'd have to have an interest rate. Let me zoom in on this a little bit more. You have to have an interest rate of 1.1%. And you know you can't get that. Now, here's the big thing. What if you could do this and have a written guarantee that if we don't meet these parameters, if we don't do this for you, if you're following our program to the letter, we're going to guarantee your results. All of these stuff, all this stuff you see on YouTube, on TikTok, all right? They're not guaranteeing your results. At the P.I.L.L method, you get a written guarantee that these are going to be your results if you follow what we're talking about. And ladies and gentlemen, let me give you another example of someone who took us at our word. They said, the P.I.L.L method can get you out of debt cheaper and faster, and we're going to give you a written guarantee. We're going to show you a video of someone who is famous who took advantage of this. His name is Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher, took us at our word and said, we're going to use the P.I.L.L method And my wife is, she loves security. And even though I make a lot of money, Eric Thomas can command up to $150,000 for a speech when he's talking to people in corporate America or the National Football League or Major League Baseball. Oh yeah, they hire him to come in and do that, and they pay him good money. Let's hear what he had to say about the P.I.L.L method and our guarantee.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, ICE10K.com. ICE stands for Interest Cancellation Expert. Interest Cancellation Expert. Here it is. Go to ICE10K.com. And what you can do is get a free, when you go here, this is what you'll see. You'll see Dr. Eric Thomas. You get to see that video again. And there are 4 more short videos here, or 3 more short videos. And you scroll down underneath his picture and click on this button that says get a savings and earnings report. Stop trying to use this stuff for free on the internet. Listen, let me tell you something. We do charge for what we do. I'm going to tell you that right up front. But you can get a free savings and earnings report. You can know the month, day, and year you're going to be debt free. And here's what's going on. Don, there are people who do, they're giving us this information for free, but you charge because you get what you pay for. What good is a system that's going to cost you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 more in interest than you need to pay? Okay. Even if you have to pay them, all right, there's no other system on the planet that beats this system in saving interest. Nobody beats our AI system. Nobody. So if you got to pay a little bit extra to save an extra $50,000 to $100,000 in interest you don't have to pay, people come to us all the time and says, Don, I talked to somebody over here, but they're going to charge a lot less than your company. I said, okay, how much interest are you going to pay to use their system? I guarantee you, and I've been doing this a long time. Let's do the math. Let's figure it out. You're going to pay about $50,000 to $100,000 more in interest on average to use their cheaper system. And we're going to save you that money. So let me ask you this. Is it more important to have to pay for something that's cheap and then pay more to use it, or to pay the right amount for something and save a ton of interest that you can use for the rest of your life? That's kind of what we're talking about here, folks. Get your savings and earnings report and know exactly how much interest you're going to save. If you know the benefit of how much interest you're going to save, if you know that it's going to be guaranteed, if you know that it's going to be guaranteed, guess what? If your benefit outweighs the cost, then there is no cost. If your benefits outweigh the cost, then there is no cost. Let's talk about what happens when you get to understand all of this from the ground up. Not only do you get the AI system, the opportunity cost calculator, but you get superior financial education that no one else is teaching but the P.I.L.L method. No one else. Let's dive into it. Let's get into this just a little bit more. Instead of 36 years, this is important. Instead of 36 years being in debt, they're going to be out of debt in 9. They're going to save $500,000 in interest they don't have to pay. $512,332 in interest they don't have to pay, guaranteed. And this is where we start. This is not where we finish. When we do an analysis like this, once we put them into our actual opportunity cost calculator, once we put them into the actual program, we generally save an additional 10 to 17% over these numbers. We get out of debt faster and cheaper than what you're seeing here, because now we're working with actual numbers and actual situations. And then guess what? If they come to us at a young age and they're doing this, what we're telling them is that over the next 27 years, and listen, 27 years goes by so fast. Over the next 27 years, the money that you didn't spend on interest and you put it away into an investment, you can turn that into over $4 million at, watch this now, the money you're no longer paying on the debt, you can turn it into $4 million at 1% return on your money. The average person that invests in the stock market or invest in a mutual fund or in one of the indices like, the New York Stock Exchange, any one of those exchanges, okay? You're investing in that. The average is somewhere between 6 and 10%. Somewhere between 6 and 10% they're making on their money yearly. This is at 1% return, the money that they would have spent on interest and on these other debts. They can turn that into an extra $4 million added to what they're already putting away for their long-term savings and retirement from their jobs. We're taking average people who are making good incomes with a W-2. These folks don't even have a business. And we can turn them into millionaires by just learning how to track your income and your expenses to save the maximum amount of interest that you could possibly save mathematically, and then have a system that systematically tells you how to save that money. And with our team working together, we have interest cancellation experts on our team. And we also have on our team people who specialize in gaining wealth and taking your money and turning it into generational wealth. We help you to invest and make more money. See, it's not just about eliminating debt and eliminating interest. It's about how do we create wealth. We have wealth creation experts on the team working with our interest cancellation experts so that you'll know how much money to put towards debt elimination, and you know how much money to put towards wealth creation simultaneously. No other program on the planet does this. This is why you want to get your free savings and earnings report and turn your debt into wealth. And if you happen to be one of these folks that got in trouble with your credit cards trying to use Velocity Banking, come to us. In fact, not only that, we're going to give you my telephone number. We're going to give you the 256. We're going to put this in the private chat. 256-886-1867. Okay? Sometimes I do this and sometimes I don't. I've got a little extra time today. Okay? So here's what you could do. If you want to ask some questions about this today, we're going to do something special. call that number, and whatever operator answers the number, whatever a person answers the number for us today, leave a message for me to call you back. Leave a message for me to call you back, because they may not they won't put you through, but say, listen, I want to speak to Don Daniel. All right. And could you leave him a message to call me back? I'll call you back today. I will call you back today. If you call that number and you want to ask some questions about your finances, your mortgage, your student loans, whatever's going on with you. Okay. Because see, these other folks on YouTube, okay, you can't call them. They're putting up or on TikTok. You can't call them and ask them, is this true? Show me the numbers. Give me a call today. Now, this is just today. Okay. Normally you have to go through, you're going to get some of my assistants, and then they're going to ask you some questions. And then, you're going to have to go through the regular procedures. But today, if you call the number today and say, I want to speak to Don Daniel, leave me a message. They'll send it over to me and I'll call you. Let's talk about it. Okay. Listen, do you have a question right now, though? Does anybody want to come into YouTube with us right now and talk and tell us your story? Maybe you have a success story. Maybe you are a P.I.L. Method client. Maybe you want to be a P.I.L. Method client. Maybe you have a particular question you want to ask about your finances. Whatever the question is, you can come in and ask. So click on the link that you see here and join our show. Let's talk about it. I love to answer questions. We've been here 1 hour and 2 minutes. So let me give you an idea. While we're waiting for the questions to come in. Let's take a look at, we're going to take a look at what we're doing here to understand how all of this comes together. Okay? Why in the world would anybody borrow? Did you know that on the face of it, you can borrow money at a higher interest rate and save money on debt that's at a lower interest rate? This is the part that they're not telling you. So we're going to put something up here. Here's a $400,000 mortgage at 7%. Okay. And so our system can use a line of credit, but most of our clients use a checking and savings account because, and I'll get into why that is. But let's start here with some of this stuff that you're seeing on these short videos, but they're not telling you why it works. Here's an amortization schedule. You're paying $2,661.21 on this mortgage every single month. $400,000. Okay, $400,000 at 7%. Here's your monthly payment. We find out at 7%. Here's how much interest the bank wants: $558,000 in interest, which means total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 139%. Well, listen, why pay the bank 139% where you already see some of our clients are paying around 1% to borrow money? Why pay 139% when you can pay about 1% to borrow money when you follow a program that's designed to save interest cost? Why? Why would you do that? So let's get into this. So here we have, look at this interest on each payment here. Payment number one. Well, we got to make this bigger, Don, so people can see the numbers. Okay. $327 goes to principal. That pays down the loan. $2,333 goes to interest. Look at all these interest payments. Look at them. In the first year, $27,871.29. Just in interest alone, just so you could pay your loan down by $4,000. That's criminal. That is criminal. So how do we save money? So what if I let me give you the main idea here. Okay. The interest rate is 7%. Now let me ask you, if I prepay this amount, I'm paid down to here in 1 month, not in 1 year, and it saves me $27,000, about $27,000 in interest I don't have to pay. Okay. Now, if you want to talk about it, look, give me a call today. We put the number in there, so I can. Somebody's calling already. Somebody's calling. All right. I get the call first, and somebody answers that. Somebody's taking advantage of that right now. Okay. I just wanted to see if somebody was actually going to call. So I left my phone. I took my phone off vibrate. People are calling in. All right. You can call in too. Call the number, leave a message. Let's talk about it today. Because normally it costs at least $150 an hour to talk to me. At least $150 an hour. And that's not our special rate. Okay. So let me tell you, if I said I can borrow money at 10%, a 10% rate to put on a 7% mortgage, would you say that would be a good idea or a bad idea? I could borrow money at 10% and put it on a 7% mortgage. Most people, when they hear something like that, they're saying, that's crazy talk. Why would you take 10% money and put it on a 7% mortgage? Because I just showed you a 7% mortgage really means 139.5%. That's what that really means. Okay. So let's just do some simple math. Okay. So you tell me, I'm going to borrow money. I'm going to get it from a loan, a line of credit, or a credit card. I'm going to borrow $4,000. $4,000. All right. And in a year, I'm going to take a whole year to pay it back. I'm going to take a whole year to pay that $4,000 back at 10% interest. Okay. Because on a line of credit and on a credit card, the interest is calculated a little bit differently, and you're paying money. You're paying interest on the average daily balance. So if I borrow money at 10% here, $4,000, how much is 10% of $4,000, ladies and gentlemen? How much is 10% of $4,000? Is that about $400 for the year? Okay. So let's put it this way. You borrow money from me, and I'm going to charge you 10% interest. Borrow money from me, $4,000, and I'm going to charge you 10% interest. And that means you have to pay me back in a year and then pay me $400 interest on the $4,000 loan. $400 interest on a $4,000 loan. Okay. And then you're going to take that money and apply it to your mortgage and save $27,000 in interest with that. Even it takes you a whole year to pay it back. Now you tell me, is it worth paying $400 interest to save $27,000 interest on the mortgage? The answer would be yes. That's what velocity banking is trying to teach. But they leave so much out in the middle, you never get to take advantage of it because you keep racking up debt on those credit cards. And then you get a second credit card, then a third, up to, then you end up with 7 or 10 or 12 credit cards maxed out trying to use a system they're not giving you all the instructions for. We give you all the instructions. We give you customer service so that you can listen. let me, oh my gosh, let me show you what's going on here. All right, let's take this off the screen for a second. Let's just have it on me, okay? So I can bring up what I need to bring up. Okay, so let me bring this up, and then we'll put this back on the screen. I want to make sure that I can find what we're talking about here and bring up the right thing. All right, so we're going to bring this up. Okay. Oh, another person is calling in. All right. So look here. It's flashing. See, somebody else is calling it. Take advantage of it. Take advantage, folks, because it costs money. It costs money to call in and set up a consultation. Okay. So take advantage. Ask a few questions today. Do what you got to do to save money. All right. Some folks don't want to talk to me on air. Or they'd rather talk to me in private. That's okay. We're going to allow you to do that today. All right. So let me pull this up. So it's loading in now. So we give you education and we give you support. All right. So now here's what's happening. We have a whole slew of people who are ready and able to take your phone call when you become a client to give you help. Let's bring the screen back up. Okay, so bring the screen back up and we're going to show you here. So if you will call, once you get on our system, we're going to put the screen up here for you in just a second. Okay, there we are. Look in the lower right-hand corner. Look in the lower right-hand corner. You see here? There's a headset. Click the headset and you get to see what time we're open. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and you call the 800 number. In fact, if you're quick enough, you can call the 800 number and see that somebody does answer the phone. When our clients, see, we don't have email customer support. That's what they're doing now. Email customer support. Or you call and get a recording and leave a message, and they'll call you back 2 or 3 days later. If you're a P.I.L.L Method client, you want to call customer support. You need help right now. You want to ask a question about your finances. You call that number, somebody answers the phone, and they're trained to answer your question. And you don't get a busy signal, and you don't get a recording. We have enough people on staff daily to answer your questions. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for support. You're paying for knowledge. You're paying for advanced education. Not only that, but you also get a coach. You see, customer support is at one level. And then if customer support can't answer your question, then they kick it up to the next level, which is a financial coach that understands our program from beginning to end, that even knows the history of the amortization schedules, that understands banking and how loans actually work from the bottom up. And you get a coach that's willing to answer your questions and to give you strategies that will help you to get out of debt cheaper and faster with your situation. So we will design a program just for you. None of these videos that you're watching on YouTube are telling you, because you are an individual, this is exactly what you need to do. And this is what you need to do. And this is what you need to do. No, not individually. They're trying to give you something that everybody can use. And just think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about it for just a hot second. Can everybody use the exact same advice? Can everybody do the same thing and get good results? No. Would you go to a doctor that gave everybody the same advice? Gave everybody the very same diagnosis, gave everybody the same information to maintain good health. No, you would not go to that doctor because they're not treating you as an individual. Brenda Jackson says, can I do this with credit cards? You most certainly can. Okay. You want to know, say, Brenda, we've got in our accounts here, we have a credit card and a HELOC. Okay. So we're going to pay off the HELOC. They're going to pay off the credit card, and we don't care. Listen, our program can put any number of credit cards in here. These folks, we have people with 10, 12, 15 credit cards maxed out. But guess what? They can make the minimum payments on all of their debt every single month and pay their bills. If that is the answer. So listen, folks, if you are behind on your bills, if you can't pay your bills, the P.I.L.L method is not the answer. You need to be at least able to pay your bills every month on time. Then we can help. Please, because we're not debt fixers. We're not consolidation. We're not those people who say, call us and we'll get rid of your credit cards and ruin your credit. We're not those people. We're people that work with people that can actually pay their bills. We're just going to show you how to do it more efficiently. Okay? There are people out there that are promising that they'll get rid of your credit card debt. That ain't us. At the P.I.L.L method, we're going to help you to pay off the debt that you created more efficiently, make it easier, take away the stress. In fact, when you become a P.I.L.L method client, one of the last things we tell you after you sign up to become a P.I.L.L method client, we tell you that stress is against the rules. Stress is against the rules. If stress is against the rules, when you start feeling stress in our program, you call the 800 number. You call the number, you get the help you need, and if you need additional help from a financial coach, then we kick it up to a financial coach who is assigned to you. You have the coach's number. You can text, you can email your coach and says, yeah, the customer service couldn't answer the question for me sufficiently, so I need to bring it to my coach. You get a coach assigned to you to do this for you so you can understand what's going on. So folks, please stop using this information on the internet on something that is very complicated and that you need I'm talking about exact information on exactly how much money to pay, exactly how much money to save, exactly how many days to save it. And know that you don't attack your debt monthly. You make your regular monthly payments on time. And then when we start to attack the principal, it's every 3 or 4 months. So you're going to do this strategically at certain times during the year, not every month, because you as an individual, as a business or a church or whatever your debt is, you need to save that money up over time. And when it hits the right amount for you, it may take 2, 3, or 4 months to get to the point where you have enough money in your savings to put on the debt. And so that you can know what to do. Let me give you some examples here. I'm going to go through in our final few minutes. Okay. There's plenty of videos on YouTube about velocity banking. Then I need you to compare it to this program with this bit of video I'm going to share with you. Okay, so let's go through it step by step. So here's John and Rebecca Jones. We're starting on February 1. John gets paid $1,300. Okay, let's see where they are right now. We're going to go into the accounts. They have $500 in checking. They have $5,000 in savings already. All right. And then when we go here, we can see, if we take a look at preferences, we can see what John and Rebecca Jones want to keep in savings at all times. Okay. So they've set it up so they can keep $2,000 in at all times. So we're never going to use all of their money. Okay. And they can choose however much money they want. We have some suggestions here. Here's keep a low amount, keep a medium amount, $3,000. And here's our highest suggestion is $7,021. Okay. And I'll show you what happens. We'll go back and maybe have time to do the $7,000 one. But let's take a look here. Okay. So John and Rebecca Jones tell the program, I just got paid $1,300. It is this easy to tell the program I made $1,300 and it disappears from the screen. When we take a look at the accounts, the virtual banking account in the program matches exactly what they have in the bank. Now they have $1,800 in their checking account. Okay. And then they pay the mortgage, $1,199.10. When they pay the mortgage, they tell the program, I paid the mortgage, because when they write a check for this amount, that amount is subtracted from their bank account, right? So when we execute that, okay, and then that disappears. But if we take a look at their accounts, we're tracking each and every payment. Now they have $600.90 in their checking account. Does this make sense? We're tracking every single expenditure. Okay. We even track the finance charges on the credit card. So when they click here, it says on 2-1, we have to add the finance charge for the credit card. So we're going to add $34.81 interest on the credit card. And then we know exactly, see, we're even tracking the interest that they're being charged on the credit card. And here's the interest earned right here. Interest earned on their, they have one of those checking accounts that earn interest. So we even do the calculation on that, 43 cents. They have a higher, one of those higher interest rates on this particular checking account. This particular checking account just earned them 43 cents. So Don, it's just 43 cents, but yeah, but it's your 43 cents. And it matters because we're going to use each and every penny to cancel as much interest as we possibly can. So now we're going to execute that, tell the program, I've got now an extra 43 cents. And now the program says, oh, we're going to take some money out of savings and pay off the credit card to zero and save $2,132 in interest that we don't have to pay. And we're going to track how much interest you are saving right here. Look here. Actual interest saved is right here. Actual. So Don, how much information can this program provide us that Velocity Banking doesn't provide us? Okay, here's what we got. Okay, we got years to pay off is 9.2. The amount of interest that we're going to save is $171,751 in interest we will not have to pay. Well, Don, how much interest will we pay? Well, we go down here and says we'll click on interest remaining. Okay, we will pay about $67,561 in interest we will pay. So the bank wanted this money and the $171,000. But guess what? They're not going to get the $171,000 because you're following the P.I.L.L method coaching and the opportunity cost calculator that's leading you like financial GPS. So we're going to save this. All right, we're going to pay this much interest, but we're going to save that much interest. So now we pay the power bill. Okay. So we're going to pay the power bill. Well, the power bill is not $200 this month. It's only $150 this month. Okay. So that gives us an extra $50 to put towards debt. You see that? You see how that works? Okay. So we're going to have an extra $50 to put towards debt because our power bill wasn't $200 a month. This month it was only $150. Rebecca gets paid $1,200. Look at this. Rebecca gets paid $1,200. and we're all done with Rebecca. She puts her money in, and then they pay. Oh, there's a finance charge on the HELOC. How much is the finance charge on the HELOC? $25.65. So that is how much interest we have to pay on that. And then we're going to pay the phone bill. Okay. All right. Execute that. So this is how we take care of that. Well, so Don, we're doing this one by one. So let me show you how we can speed this up. Okay. I'm going to go back and reset the account. Okay, reset to the beginning. And I think we're using this checking and savings account. Number one. I think that's the one we're using. It's either number one or number two. We'll check and see. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, this is the one. All right, so now, if you want to do, I can click on several of these at the same time and take care of the amount of money that's supposed to go to the Visa and the amount of money that's supposed to go to the mortgage all at once. So let's do this. Okay. So we're going to pay off the Visa and put $1,004.24 on the mortgage. And we're not going to click on all of these individually. We're going to do what's called execute multiples. Okay. And then we're going to close all of these out. We're going to put $2,000 on the Visa, pay it off, and put $1,004.24 on the mortgage, pay it off, and on the exact right day in the exact right month. Okay. And we're going to pay exactly what the program says to pay and save $7,088 in interest we don't have to pay. And I can look over here and say, oh, when does the program plan, based on my spending habits, when's the program plan to put money on debt again? Not until next month on the 15th. Okay. $1,802. Let's scroll down to March. Okay. While the program right here in February is building up again, building up here, building it up, and building it up. And then the program says here, last month we paid off the credit card and put money on the mortgage. This month, we're better off financially to put a lump sum on the HELOC this month, the home equity line of credit. Okay. When we do that, we're going to, let's see here. Let's do all of this at one time, all the way down to putting money on the HELOC. Watch this. We're going to take care of all of this instead of clicking on these one by one. Let's go ahead and then do multiple action, execute multiple actions. Okay. And then execute that and by putting that money on the HELOC, look here. Our actual interest saved is now $10,000 in interest saved. Do you realize our clients within the first 3 to 5 months save more interest than the cost of this program? Their lifetime program, their program that guarantees their success just by pointing and clicking and following what's happening here. Look at this. And then the program just says, let's save up some money. We paid that. And then the next time we're going to put money on debt, look here. When's the next time we're going to put money on debt? May 15, 2024. And we're going to pay $1,959 on the debt and still have plenty of money in savings. What? Yeah. What if I want to, now, what if I want to keep more money in savings? Well, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Let me go back. Let me reset the account one more time. Okay, this is a demonstration account. This is why I can do it so fast. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to reset the account. Okay, bring it back to where it was. Okay, and then tell the program, see how the program wants to put money on debt right now? But what if I told the program, I don't want to keep $2,000 in savings. Uh-oh, I clicked the wrong button. Preferences. Okay, I don't want to keep $2,000 in savings. I want to keep a little bit more. All right. It says 7. So we're recommending that the high point be $7,000. But they said, you know what? I'm uncomfortable with that. I want to keep $10,000 in savings at all times. Okay. Now we're supposed to be out of debt in, let me change this back to years to pay off. Okay. We're supposed to be out of debt in 9.3 years and save $171,000 in interest. Let me show you how powerful a program like this can be instead of trying to use velocity banking and guessing. Because we can put I'm going to save $10,000 now, save that, and we're going to be out of debt in 9.6 years. Went from 9.3 to 9.6. Look at that. And I want to keep $10,000 in the bank at all times. What if I want to increase my savings to $20,000? You see, the beauty of a program like this, you can just plug the numbers in and see what's going on, what's going to happen at the end of the road. Velocity banking can't do that for you. It can't. It's not set up that way. You're guessing the whole time. I want to save $20,000 in savings. Okay. And we're out of debt in 9.6. What happens if I want to keep $20,000 in savings? I go from 9.6 to 10 years. You can know if I need to spend money on a vacation, if I need to spend money on this, if I need a new air conditioner, if I need a new roof, all of this can be factored in. And then it tells me, if I do all of these things, when can I put money on debt? I can save up enough money after I save up that money I want to save from now until, because of the money that they're making, from now until July 15 of this year. Look at this. I can now put money on debt because I will have saved up the amount of money that I said I wanted to save. And you can know that ahead of time. This is why you need a program that tracks everything you're doing and then gives you exactly what to do based on your particular financial goals. There it is. Now you have it. Now you know why velocity banking, even though theoretically it works, but practically you get in serious, serious trouble when you try to use it. Okay. So where did my other examples go here? I lost my examples. Where did they hide? Where are they hiding? I think I moved them over to this screen. I can't find them. I can't find my examples. All right, let me close some of these windows here so I can find my examples, so I can bring them up for you again. I can't find them. I got too many windows open. All right, let me do it this way. I will find them here. There it is. Bop, bop, bop. Got it. I knew I could find it. There we go. Here's what happened. So to avoid this, to avoid a situation where we have 10 credit cards maxed out to $73,000, to avoid a situation where we have 12 credit cards maxed out to $201,000, to avoid that, call us early, because you can actually keep yourself from getting in trouble. But if you are in trouble, still call us, because we can take this where you owe $1 million instead of paying $692,000 in interest, cut your interest cost by 74%, saving $500,000 instead of paying this for 36 years, be out of debt in 9, and we are going to guarantee these results. If you want situations like this, where you are paying off in 9 years instead of 36 years, where you have a situation where you are, instead of paying $692,000 using velocity banking, getting in trouble, we'll get you out of trouble if you can pay all of your bills on time. Okay. You just need to be able to make minimum payments on everything, and then we will guide you from there. Give us a call today at area code 256-886-1867, or get your savings and earnings report today. Get it today. All right. We want you to be able to get a savings and earnings report today. It's free. There's absolutely no reason why you should suffer in silence when you can know the month, day, and year you're going to be out of debt, how much interest you're actually going to pay, how much interest you can save, and how you can turn that interest saved into wealth. We're the only game in town that does all of this. You can pay less for a cheaper system, but you will pay more in interest to use it. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. But before we do, I want to talk to you about the shows for this week. All right, the shows for this week. Let's see. We're going to put up what's Wednesday's show here. Wednesday's show is 6% mortgage is better than a 2.99% mortgage. Look at that. Can you believe that? Wednesday's show, a 6% mortgage is better than 2.99. We're going to go, this is a replay where we go over why a higher interest rate, if you understand what's going on, can be better than a lower interest rate. And we're going to prove it to you with the numbers. Stop letting people tell you you need the very lowest interest rate you can get without understanding, without them telling you why that is. We're going to give you the numerical information and the facts to prove that you don't need to buy down the your mortgage interest rate. You don't need to. Most people want a lower payment. They don't need a lower payment. They want a lower payment. They don't need a lower payment. And if that's who you are, if you can afford your payment at the higher interest rate, we'll show you how you're going to save more interest at the higher interest rate and get out of debt faster with the higher interest rate than the lower one. Okay, that's Wednesday's show. Friday's show is if you're about to get a mortgage. If you're about to get a mortgage, how would you like to be able to have no down payment? 0% down payment. No, what? No down payment. You know, they said that an FHA, you can pay 3% down payment, or conventional, you have to put at least 10%, but they're asking you to put down 10 to 20%. And some of you are saving up money so you can put 20% down because that's what you've been told. We're going to bring an expert into our studio on this coming Friday, who specializes in finding all the banks across the country that require nothing down. How would you like to hear? You want to be here for Friday? Such 0% interest down payment. There's no down payment. So Don, what can we do with the money that we were saving up for down payment? I'll show you what you can do with that money, and you will be amazed. That's Friday. But next Sunday, we're going to be right back here. All right. If you are a doctor and you have mortgage and student loans and a whole ton of debt, how doctors can pay off all of their debt, mortgages, student loans, credit cards, car loans, pay off everything in about 7 years. If you're a doctor and you have all of this debt, you make a great income, but you have all of this debt, we're going to show you how to pay it all off in about 7 years. You want to be here next Sunday when we go over doctors eliminate all debt in about 7 years. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here with me today. We're going to be back here next week with some valuable information for you. Do not miss it. But if you can't be here at 7 a.m. Central Time on Wednesday and Friday, that's 8 a.m. Eastern Time to catch us live, catch the replays. But at any rate, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like the videos, comment on the videos, and share this information. I need your help in getting this information out. If you thought this was valuable, go ahead and share it. Okay? So I'll see you. We got one more video to play you before we get out of here. But I want to thank everybody for being here with me today. And if this made sense to you, go ahead and put it in the comments. And I thank you very much for showing up. We'll see you. We're going to play a great replay for you on Wednesday, but I will be back here live on Friday and on Sunday. Okay. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye. How many want to know how to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years? You can do all of this without refinancing, without change to your budget, without sacrificing lifestyle.
Me and my husband do the P.I.L.L method, and last year we were able to pay down $33,000 on our mortgage without feeling like we were poor. We still did tons of entertaining things and enjoyed our family.
You don't have to eat beans and rice every day. You don't have to cut up your credit cards. You don't have to drive a 30-year-old car. You don't have to sell pizzas at night to pay off your mortgage. All you need to do is pay the bank less interest. That's what we're talking about today. Here is what P.I.L.L method stands for: prepayment of principal, isolation of principal amounts, leverage, and liquidity. You understand it? You have a way of getting out of debt more efficiently. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. You think you're buying a $500,000 home. The true cost of that home is what? $758,000. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 51.777%. That's what's going on with this loan. The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule is not taught at any level of financial education. I need you to understand the power of a penny. You will not hear what I'm talking about from Dave Ramsey. Do you know why? Because I own the copyright. I literally wrote the book.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.